What's up? Welcome in to Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham, and the Green Bay Packers pretty much dominate the Washington Commanders 27-18 on Thursday Night Football. We're going to get into it all, reacting to this game, and is Green Bay the team to beat in the NFC? I hate to say it because I am a Bears fan, but here on Four Verts, NFL analysis, honest opinions, they look pretty damn good. So subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you NFL and college football content here on the daily. You don't want to miss any of it. We cover all primetime games. We do NFL Sunday coverage. So we are the channel for you. We'll have some college football Saturday content as well. All right, Packers 27, Commanders 18 in a game that, like I said, not that competitive. I mean, Washington briefly cut it to one score, 17-10 at one point, but Green Bay responded right back, went up 24-10, then they kicked a field goal, made it 27-10. Washington scored late, got the 2-point conversion to lose 27-18, a respectable final score, but they were never really in this game from start to finish. The Packers just dominated, really in all phases. Jordan Love, 292 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he barely overthrew Matthew Golden twice downfield. If he hits on just one of those, this game could have gotten ugly quick. So it really could have been a lot worse. And the raw numbers, just if you're looking at the box score, don't scream to you, but doesn't Micah Parsons make a difference? The eye test, if you're watching this game, you know, they're still kind of managing his workload early on here. He only technically had half a sack, but 3 quarterback hits. I don't know how many pressures PFF's going to credit him with, but I would guess it's at least 6 or 7, if not more. His get off the snap is just tremendous. He's a difference maker. And that defense with Jeff Hafley calling it is just excellent. And the corners are playing better than I would have thought. That was my weakness for Green Bay heading into the year. They're holding up. And when the pass rush is just giving Washington fits all night long, the corners really just kind of have to be average. Just don't be terrible. Keep everything in front. Make Jayden dink and dunk. And that's what they were doing. No explosive plays. And when Jayden did throw downfield, he was inaccurate. So I think from a Packers standpoint, they look like a pretty complete team right now. They can throw the football vertically and in the intermediate game with Jordan Love. They can hand the ball to Josh Jacobs, who had 84 yards and a touchdown. Tucker Kraft is emerging as one of the biggest mismatch weapons in the NFL. I think he's a third-year tight end now. 6 catches, 124 yards and a touchdown. Had a 57-yard catch early in this game. He's dynamic as hell. If that Golden connection starts to hit, where are the weaknesses? If Jordan Love is playing well, and remember this too, Green Bay was down 2 starting offensive linemen tonight. 2. I don't know, man. They look through week 1 and Thursday Night Football, I would say they've been the most impressive team so far. Think about what they've done. They dismantled Detroit in week 1, a team that won 15 games last year and could have won the Super Bowl if they didn't have all their defensive injuries. And they just completely controlled and dominated the Washington Commanders, who were in the NFC Championship game last year. Now, let's talk about Washington a little bit, and then we'll look big picture for both. The Commanders, in my opinion, through 2 weeks, have not quite hit their stride like they did last year. Now, listen, this is still a young team. They were kind of a prime team to, okay, they'll be good, but they won a lot of close games last year. They were excellent on 4th down. There were a lot of things that you could point to where you could be like, well, that probably evens out over time. They were a classic regression team that might be a similar caliber team, but actually wins less games. I mean, they beat the Giants 21-6 in week 1. The offense didn't really hum. The offense didn't really get going tonight. Jayden and Terry McLaurin, they're not syncing up. Terry missed most of training camp with the holdout, so I don't think it's like DEFCON 9 in Washington. They're still 1-1. They should be fine, but I don't know if I view them as like a true major NFC playoff contender. I think they're probably a playoff team, but are they going to win 12 or 13 games? I don't think so. I think Green Bay's clearly ahead of them. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are clearly ahead of them. I would guess one of Detroit or Minnesota is at least ahead of them. Maybe like the Rams and a healthy 49ers team as well. They feel more like a true wild card team, not a 12-win wild card team, like a 9 or 10-win wild card team. We'll see if they improve throughout the year. Austin Eckler got severely injured in this game. They already traded Brian Robinson, so it's going to be Jacorey Croskett-Merritt and company moving forward. Chris Rodriguez will have to get involved. But Jayden Daniels tonight, 24 of 42, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. The stat line looks respectable, but he was uncomfortable all night long. Again, completions beyond 5 yards really were not there. He only rushed for 17 yards. That was another thing about Green Bay's defense. They did not let him get loose. Washington as a team rushed for 51 yards on 19 carries. The offense just has not been potent through 2 weeks up to this point. And when Zach Ertz is leading you in receiving, 64 yards and a touchdown, I like Zach Ertz. He should be your third guy. It should be Terry McLaurin 1, Deebo Samuel 2, Zach Ertz 3. That is not what you're looking for if you are Cliff Kingsbury. So, not the greatest start to the year for Washington. They're 1-1. They've played a bad team and a good team. They beat the bad team, lost to the good team. So we'll take a look big picture at what these teams look like and just how things sit in the NFC early on in the season. But first, I do want to tell you guys about today's show. That is PrizePicks. Today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks, the best daily fantasy sports app in North America. You and I make decisions every day, but being right on PrizePicks can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Football is back and better than ever, and I'm firing off PrizePicks lineups every single week. It's very easy to play PrizePicks. You just pick stat projections more or less on player stats, yards, touchdowns, rushing, receiving, combo stats, fantasy score, all kinds of stuff. 2 to 6 player lineups, pick more or less in the stat projections. And if you hit, you can win up to 2,000 times your money. That's right. Certain lineups of PrizePicks can turn $10 into $20,000. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. For week 2, PrizePicks is offering a max discount on Travis Kelce. Just take more than half a receiving yard. I have paired that with more than half a Caleb Williams passing touchdown, which is a goblin pick. Easier to hit, which means lower payout, but I still like my chances. $20 entry to win $40 on that 2-player lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, some more thoughts on Thursday Night Football and just big picture stuff. I want to pull up both these teams' schedules moving forward here. For Green Bay, who again has looked excellent so far, they really got an opportunity to stack some wins here. So they're at Cleveland next week. Not only is it a bad Browns team, but lengthy rest too, 10 days off. So it's safe to assume they'll win that game. So that's 3-0. At Dallas, that's the Micah Parsons return game. You would imagine they're going to be pretty motivated for that, and he will have his conditioning endurance fully underneath him by then. So I think he'll be full throttle. Bengals at home, at Cardinals, at Steelers, Panthers at home. That is the first 8 games of the season. Those all feel pretty winnable to me. I think they're at least 6-2 through 8 games. Listen, they were kind of a trendy pick to win the NFC North before the Micah trade. Now that they've made the trade and we've seen the early dividends here, they look like a potential juggernaut here. They have an excellent head coach in Matt LaFleur who calls the plays and calls a good game. They have an excellent defensive coordinator for the first time in a while. Bringing Jeff Hafley in last year, we saw them improve a lot. They look much better year 2 in this system, and they traded for the most dynamic player available in Micah Parsons, who already looks dominant. So the coaching is there. Jordan Love, while I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback, he's playing like a top 10 quarterback, and that's really all you need him to be. Be a big play hunter who distributes the ball and limits turnovers early on in the season. He's been able to do that. Josh Jacobs, a workhorse. You can lean on him in the running game. They have an excellent offensive line with 2 guys down tonight. Didn't skip a beat. Jordan Morgan stepping in there at left guard. Anthony Belton played some. They got a good offensive line. They have an excellent tight end in Tucker Kraft. To me, they still don't have a true number 1 receiver. I don't think Matthew Golden's ready to be that as a rookie, but they have like 5 good weapons. They used Savion Williams a little bit tonight running the football. Romeo Doubs had a touchdown. Kraft is a stud at tight end. Jayden Reed, who left the game, did not return, so keep an eye on that. But he's a good player. Christian Watson, who they just extended, they're going to get him back at some point. So a lot of weapons for this team. If they're really, really good but feel like they still need a DB, they could trade for a corner at the deadline. Green Bay feels like a force to be reckoned with. Washington, like I said, they feel like a tier 2 team in the NFC right now. A good team, but not a great team. We'll see if they can start to hit their stride. Raiders next week is a pretty interesting game. It is at home, cross-country flight for Vegas. Extra rest for the Commanders as well. That should be advantage Washington. At Atlanta, a little Jayden Daniels, Michael Penix action. That was a great game late in the season last year between those two teams. At the Chargers after that, Bears at home on Monday Night Football, at Dallas, at Kansas City. So they've got a much tougher stretch here, I would say, than Green Bay does. So this felt like somewhat of a big result tonight in terms of just kind of the separation early on in the season in the NFC pecking order. To me, if I'm power ranking the NFC early on, Green Bay and Philadelphia are my top two. And based on eye test so far, I'd say Green Bay looks the best, although you would give Philadelphia the benefit of the doubt, being the defending champs. LA, assuming Matthew Stafford is healthy, I think is right there as well. San Francisco, we'll see. Brock Purdy's going to miss some time. Minnesota, we'll see. Obviously, I had that big finish against Chicago week 1. Let's see more of J.J. McCarthy, because for 3 quarters, I thought he was pretty bad and then finished strong. You would assume he improves throughout the season. That defense is nasty with Flores. So if J.J. makes strides, they could be in the mix. I'm still not out on Detroit. We just got to see what that looks like moving forward. And then, who are the teams kind of in the mix in the wild card hunt along with Washington? Is it the Seattles, the Arizonas, the Chicagos, the Dallases of the world? I don't think there's very many bad teams in the NFC outside of like New Orleans and maybe Carolina. So it's going to be interesting. The AFC has been kind of clear for years now. It's Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Maybe the pecking order shifts this year, but it still feels like it's those three teams and everyone else. Whereas in the NFC, Detroit's had this kind of 2-year surge. Do they take a step back? Green Bay's been in the mix, but they haven't been at the top for a while. Maybe it's their turn to get back toward the top. Is Tampa Bay, who I didn't mention, are they a real player? I think they got a chance to be really good. So it's been more of a deeper conference with an unclear kind of 2 or 3 favorites. I mean, you'd give Philadelphia, again, the benefit of the doubt there. They've been to 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls, but outside of them, it's kind of just been a random mix over the last few years. So should be an interesting conference to see how it plays out once again. All right, guys, that's going to do it for my Thursday night football reaction. Green Bay looks good. 2-0, big wins over the Lions and the Commanders. Did get both at home, but still, those are very, very quality wins. My name is Harrison Graham. We're going to get on out of here. We'll see you next time here on 4 Verts.